St. Vincent and the Grenadines is undoubtedly happy to say goodbye to September. It was the bloodiest month of the year, accounting for 10 of the 32 homicides, in addition to at least 4 persons shot and injured. The carnage began when the month was just 3 days old. 23-year-old Simona da Silva was stabbed and killed during what her family has presented as a mob attack outside their Fairhall home. 3 teenage females have been charged with her murder. 12 days later, on September 15, Kisroy King, a 21-year-old Sandhill resident, died after being chopped and stabbed around 8 a.m. in the morning rush hour on Higginson Street, Kingstown. He was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Xavier Lynch, a 20-year-old resident of Cemetery Hill, has been charged with King's murder. But it was the 8 deaths over a 5-day period that really unnerved the nation. It began on Friday, September 22, when Raphael O'Neill was shot and killed around 10:45 p.m. in his home village, Vermont. O'Neill, who was also known as Snakey, was shot and killed while hanging out at a shop in the South Leeward village. The 31-year-old, who has a history of cocaine abuse and burglary, had been released from prison on September 9. Also on September 22, Andrew Roberts of Otley Hall was shot and killed at Casson Hill. He was reportedly killed after hijacking in Richmond Hill a car driven by Dale Little of Paul Over. Little is said to have overpowered Roberts, relieving him of his .38 revolver and shooting him in the chest, killing him on the spot. Another hijacker, who had taken over the driver's seat of the car, is said to have escaped. Then, 1 day later, Keisha Melville was shot and killed in Murray's Village as she made her way home. The 27-year-old mother of 3 was killed execution style, with her attacker said to have shot her once in the head, then again as she was lying on the road. The assailant is said to have walked on the woman's body before disappearing back into the darkness. That same night, Saturday, September 23, Ezekiel Robin of Fairhall headed his vehicle for the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown with his attacker in hot pursuit on foot after being shot in Fairhall around 8 p.m. Robin, who is also known as 13s and is originally from Clare Valley, was on his way home when he was shot in the chest and arm. Then, 2 days later, on Monday, September 25, Lionel Ashers, a 78-year-old tailor of Otley Hall, died at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital in Kingstown. Asher's death came 4 days after he was shot about 8 times outside his home in the West Kingstown community. Later that Monday night, Iron Bascom was shot and killed in Vermont. The man, said to be 35 years old, was shot and killed around 9 p.m. on his way home in Francois, a village in the South Leeward community. One theory is that Bascom was believed to have been involved in the death of Raphael Snakey O'Neill, another Francois resident who had been shot and killed in Vermont the previous Friday night. The theory further suggests that Bascom was killed by Wendell Grindy O'Neill, who would be killed less than 24 hours after Bascom. Also injured in the shooting in which Bascom was killed was Jason Stevens, also known as Godfred Straker of Vermont. Stevens was shot in the chest and underwent emergency surgery at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where he remains a patient. That same Monday night, September 25, Roland Cunningham was found dead at his rented apartment in Fairburn Pasture. Neighbors called police after they heard someone calling for help. Police found Cunningham, a 56-year-old security guard who is originally from Chateaubelair, dead with a chop wound to the left side of his head. The following day, Tuesday, September 26, Wendell Grindy O'Neill of Vermont was shot and killed in Kingstown. O'Neill fell in a hail of gunshots while sitting on the seawall outside the Leeward bus terminal towards the western end of the city, in close proximity to vendors who plied their trade in the outdoors around 1:30 p.m. He was the older brother of Raphael Snakey O'Neill, who was shot and killed in Vermont the previous Friday night. Sources suggest that Wendell's death was in retaliation for the killing of Iron Bascom in Vermont the previous night, as sources say that he was believed to have been involved in that killing, said to have been in turn carried out to avenge Raphael's murder. Injured during that shooting incident outside the bus terminal was Wendell's girlfriend, Jehan Brown, 28, of Chauncey. Brown was sitting with Wendell in the relatively crowded and busy exit from the city when a masked gunman exited the vehicle and opened fire before fleeing the scene. Brown sustained injuries to her chest, belly and leg and underwent emergency surgery at the Milton Keyton Memorial Hospital, where she is still a patient. A third person injured during that shooting incident has been identified as 31-year-old Kevin Isaacs, but Eyewitness News at this time has no further information about his address and condition. Then, on Wednesday, September 27, Michael Bully Edwards, 50, of Lomans Hill, was found dead in the road in Spring, Lomans Hill. Edwards' relatives told Eyewitness News that he had a history of alcoholism and when drunk would often sleep at the side of the road where his body was found. Police say they are treating the man's death as a road fatality. They say it appears that a vehicle struck and dragged the man, resulting in his death. No suspect has been identified so far. And with such a September to remember, Vincentians will certainly hope that in October, the focus would be on the nation's independence celebrations. Kenton Chance, Eyewitness News.